Okay, so to summarise the Workday Consumer, there is a load of findings in this report, and I can make sure that you can get access to it. It is available on our website as well. But to sum up, they are heavily engaged on the PC, and this is going to stay. They're balancing work and life, and this is the norm. You know, it is the norm, and it is what's going to happen. What all businesses need to understand. People are doing personal tasks during their day as well, and so you as a marketer need to understand that your end customer is doing that too. And unfortunately, we're seeing that a lot of marketers are just not adapting to this new persona or the new mindset. Okay, so I'm just going to switch gears slightly, and I'm going to talk about the road to Qatar, or the Cup of the World, because this is an odd year. This is happening at the same time as our traditional festive period. So to help you understand and set some context around this, I'm just going to go through a little bit about what is happening. And then we'll go into how you can actually connect to a lot of these people. So the last tournament of this kind was in 2018, that we're going to be looking at. And the road to Qatar reached about 3.5 billion people worldwide. FIFA have announced that they are expecting this year's to reach 5 billion people. Sorry, 3.5 billion, and not thousand, that wouldn't be great. So this year, it's they're hoping to reach 5 billion people. That's over 60% of the world's population. But, as I've mentioned, there are lots and lots of watch outs for this year. It clashes with the peak period. There are games that are taking place throughout that entire Black Friday week. And actually, there is a match with the USA and England at 7 o'clock on Black Friday night at 7 p.m. And this is traditionally the prime period for people to get their deals. Cost of living. This isn't just in the UK. This is across all of the world. We are all seeing inflation happen to different degrees, admittedly. But what impact is that actually going to have in this festive period? We don't quite know, but we've got to be prepared for it. And as I mentioned before, it's going to impact consumers, the end consumer. They're really going to think about what they want. They're going to be looking for deals. And it's also going to impact you as a business and as a marketer. TV for the football tournament is also going to be a challenge. And I don't know how many of you have got the budgets to look at TV, but TV costs are going to rise, and they're going to actually rise right at the last minute, possibly, for advertising around that football tournament. So that's quite hard to plan for. And lastly, there's been a lot of controversy around the location of the tournament and the poor human rights record in Qatar. So you need to be really mindful of this as well, and the messages that you actually land. So, as I mentioned, this year is super unique. These are the matches, or these are the times that the matches are going to run. And as you can see, I've highlighted the UK, but I know that there are people here from other countries too. They're happening during the workday. So how, as a consumer, if you're a football fan, are you going to juggle your workday and perhaps watch your favourite team during the football? You're just going to do it. You're going to multi-screen, aren't you? And so it's really interesting. And as you can see, in almost every market, apart from China and Japan and Australia, there are matches happening during the workday. Those are the ones in purple. This is a great example of the new Workday Consumer. And our research, as I mentioned, our research tells us that people are in a task-orientated mindset when they're at work. And we see that almost 3/4 of people are using multiple devices, but also completing a task on a PC. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of data crunching for you, just to sort of help you understand what the opportunities are as well, so that you can think about different messages at different times in the run-up to Black Friday at least. So this is our own data, and when I say our own data, this is from Bing, the search platform. What we see here is that actually when there is a news announcement, we see a spike of activity. So that's really important to how you plan your strategies. Obviously, a lot of news is you're not aware of it, but think about all of the matches that are coming up and when things get announced, that you want to be there with really relevant, useful information to help consumers along their journey. And we expect these peaks to rise as we get closer and closer to the tournament. So, we have a lot more data to show around this. And again, I'm more than happy to send the broader deck to anybody that's interested. But what we did is we took the football tournament that took place in 2018 and we benchmarked it as a baseline with 2019. And so what you can see here is that it's not just a one moment in time. People are interested in news, in anything related to football, months in advance. They are fans. So what you need to think about is, depending on your business, your product, is how can you be relevant today? How can you keep that momentum going? Because what we see is that people the search volumes are going up, and this is for clothing. So this actually may not be related to football at all, but people are searching all the time. This might be related to football clothing, branded stuff. As you can see, I'm struggling not to say the word. And so what you see basically is that actually it's a marathon, okay? So it's really important that you keep that momentum going. And then we had a look at the hourly searches and clicks. And what you see here is the first match that was played during the last tournament in 2018, and it was benchmarked with other Mondays during that period. And what we see is people are actually searching for clothing a few hours before the match. So people are multitasking all the time. And then we took a look at Black Friday. And what you can see here is a pre-Black Friday base and a Black Friday base. And again, you see the same sort of pattern, that people are looking for deals, they're researching products and services. We saw that was the top task that people are doing through the Workday Consumer research, and they're doing that before. And again, they are actually converting in their click as well. So then we matched them together. And this is a possible outcome, okay? Because this is an odd year, we don't really know what's going to happen, but this is based on all of our data science team having a look at what's happening with the football tournament and what's happening with Black Friday. And we can see here that actually it's going to cover multiple verticals as well. And actually, I should have included travel in this, because I think that's also a really interesting vertical, because people are going to want to travel to the matches, but also people who are not interested in the football may be planning their next trip away. So at the bottom, you see what happens 4 weeks before, and the bigger number is what happens during the week of the football and what happens during the week of Black Friday. And so you can see that you can't just wait for that week. You've got to think about it today and think about building that momentum, because if you don't do it today, you won't have any loyalty by the time that you're ready for people to convert. Okay, so let's have a quick look about the football watches. So these are the fans. And I'm actually going to talk about what happens across our audience network, our Microsoft Advertising audience network. So this data here is based on GWI, and again, it's UK. I'm sorry about that. I should have thought about it when I was building the deck. In the UK, we see a third of the UK population will be interested in the football. And that might grow depending on how far we get in the tournament. But what's really interesting here as well, before I come on to what they will be doing, is 2/3 of them will not be watching the football. They're not interested. So really think about how you can actually connect to those people who are not interested in it. That's a large number of people. So let's focus on the people who are interested in it. 63 of them, you can connect to them on our platform. And 78% of them will watch it on a TV. And 25 will watch the matches online. And what's interesting about this is those that are watching on the TV, on 78% of them, they'll probably have a phone or a PC next to them because it's the work day. And so they will be multitasking. So it's really important that you just bear that in mind as well. And then obviously that 25% who are online, who are watching it probably on their PC, their work PC, they're already ready to get distracted and to look at other things, perhaps emails, perhaps searching for products and services. And then if you think about these shoppers, these fans, at Microsoft Advertising, they are high income earners. We have a lot of high income earners, so they are ready to spend. And you need to think about what inflation means as well, but they are ready to transact and ready to spend. They're more likely to search for information related to what they're watching as well. So if, for instance, their favourite team is playing, they're more likely to look for information related to that team, perhaps players, perhaps kit, advertising that they've seen around the football stadium, anything. So just make sure that you think about how you can be relevant in your messaging and how you can actually connect to these people as they move through their football tournament experience. And then a lot of them will be using a second screen. So they may be looking to buy products or services on their phone or on an additional device. And so really think about the device that you're looking to target and what mindset those individuals are in. Okay, so as I mentioned, you've all got a lot to think about at the moment. This season is going to be really tough for you all. And you need to find a way to cut through the noise. So TV will be high. I've mentioned this already, and I'm not sure how many of you even have those sorts of budgets, but you really need to think creatively about all of your marketing channels, whether that's email, whether that's social, display, or search, or more. Think about the timings that you are releasing those campaigns. Try not to send an email marketing campaign during a match that your target audience might be watching, for instance. I know this sounds simple, but it's really important because you could lose customers by doing something like that. Native is a great way to actually drive some visual awareness. And obviously we have a native product, but native generally, depending on who you work with, is a great way. And Workday consumers will be reading news articles. They will be going to news outlets to check up on what the latest scores are, what the new team looks like for the Netherlands or whoever. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. And so you can use you can use different pages to target your message. So it's really important that you think about where you want to be at the right time. And then finally, I do work for Microsoft, and data is and privacy is top of mind for us all. But it's really important that you all think about your first-party strategies. And this is a great opportunity for you to increase your first-party data by running the right campaigns. But you can also use our own first-party data, and we have access to LinkedIn data, so you can target companies, job roles, and so depending on what service and what business you're in, it might be a great opportunity for you to, from a B2B point of view, to actually access new audiences. So that actually brings me to a close. This is going to be a different festive peak, but you really need to be aware of all the timings that you've got ahead of you. Those football watchers will be Workday consumers in a lot of cases. So think about first-party data, think about how you can access those people in market with in-market audiences. But also remember there are a lot of people who won't be interested. And we've also seen in previous research reports that luxury goods actually rise during football tournaments. And so that's also something to think about. They will be on multiple screens, whether it's TV or PC. They will be multitasking throughout that period because it is the work day. And think about your digital advertising strategies because TV will be high. And so really think about how you can cut through using multiple digital advertising channels. And remember, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Start as early as you can because it's really important that you start driving that loyalty so that when they're ready to transact, you're there for them. Thank you very much. We have a bit of time for questions, if anyone has any. Oh.
Hello. So it seems like it's definitely catered towards B2C audience during the football tournament. So when you're getting distracted, say, from a B2B consumer, would you avoid B2B advertising during the football tournament? Just because as you're thinking about the workday, you are a little bit distracted thinking about what you're purchasing. So would you like to avoid advertisement for B2B during that time period?
No, I wouldn't, because people will still be in the work mindset. I think it is also important to I think it's a great opportunity to do that. Just bear in mind that, you know, they will be looking at football related content. But if you're not looking to if the festive peak, for instance, is not an interest for you because it's a retail consumer holiday, I don't think it's quite a holiday, but you know, it's a period. Just bear in mind that timing, and so maybe the pre-period is really key from a B2B point of view, and then post.
Gotcha.
That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Great question. Thank you. Oh, there's one right next to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the very great insights. What I would be interested in, if you have any data about how this Workday Consumer affected the mobile desktop split itself in searches.
Yes, we have device cut data, so I can take your details afterwards and I can follow up with you. As Microsoft, we do focus very heavily on the PC, which is why it's lent a little bit that way. But we do have data from the Forrester research on what devices people are using for what activity, because that might be quite interesting. And what we've also seen is that people are actually either searching or buying high-value products. So travel actually over-indexes quite high in our research that people are doing during the workday, because they want something to look forward to, don't they? You know, you all do, and I get that. So I'd happily take your details, and then I can send you some more information on the mobile tablet cut. No problem. Over here, I think. Okay.
Do you have any recommendations for how to move the Workday Consumer from the consideration to the conversion stage?
Yes, absolutely. So we have both sides of the story. So we have from the consumer standpoint and what advertisers are actually doing, focusing on that. I don't have any of the data off the top of my head, I'm afraid. But again, I'm more than happy to take your details and take that. But yes, we do. And I suppose that plays a role with the device piece on where those transactions are actually happening and at what time of the day. And I mean, I don't know if different markets are of interest, and you can see the variances per market as well. And actually, we've just run the research in Japan as well, so I don't know if that's of interest, but we've got that data as well. So yeah, I'm sorry, I can't answer it fully, but I'm more than happy to follow up.
Sure, thank you.
Hey, thank you for that. A question regarding the actual content that you serve at this time and related to potential clients and brands.
Could you put it?
Sorry. Just looking at content across all of those platforms. Because of the time period during sort of Black Friday, the World Cup, do you think brands, regardless, should get involved for the sake of getting involved or not? Just because, would they be just filtered out because everything's going to be geared towards the World Cup and football at that time? Do you think it's worth getting involved, even if it's not aligned as such, just to be a part of the conversation?
Yeah. So I don't know enough about your business, but what we see is that obviously, so in the UK specifically, 2/3 of people are not going to be watching football. You said the word, I didn't. So there are a lot of people who will be interested in other things. So yes, absolutely. I think what's important is that you have a bit of fun with the messaging and think about how do you actually spark that interest, but also, you know, think about how do you play to their values, your consumer values. Like we have a whole study as well on marketing with purpose, and we talk a lot about playing to making sure that you are authentic and transparent, and that you can support people's own personal values. And I think that's what's quite important here, is that yes, there will be a whole audience who are just focused on football, but there's a huge audience who are not. And so if you are transparent and authentic with, you know, we know this is happening, but have you considered this? Then you perhaps may find ways to cut through. But, you know, test and learn and tweak, you know, and that's the joy of digital advertising, especially search advertising, is you can do it all in real time. So you can change your messaging, you can change your ad copy, you can change everything depending on the interactions and the intent and the mindsets that you're seeing through your reporting. So yeah, I wouldn't not, because you risk again losing potentially your own fan base. Was that a hand? No. Oh, at the back.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for the insights. I'm wondering if the trends that you're seeing at the moment, obviously a lot of them were precipitated by COVID being locked down, etc., etc. Are they here to stay? Can we expect them in the next 2 years, 3 years?
Yes, I think they are. I think they are. And I think, you know, there will definitely be different market variances, because everyone's experienced different things through COVID. But yes, I think also what we see, this is in our marketing with purpose narrative, is that what has also come off the back of COVID is that employees want more. They want their employer to give them the flexibility and they will work with companies that they feel aligned to their own values. And that's a massive shift as well. And, you know, I think all of it is here to stay to some degree. Of course, there will be businesses like Telstra, who's not Telstra, who am I talking about? Sorry, who is demanding everyone to go back to the office. And there will be small pockets where that is happening, but then you'll also see a lot of employees going, well, I don't want to work for somebody who's being that demanding. I want to have the flexibility, and actually I want to go and do something totally different for the society or something else. And so we are seeing such a huge shift of behavioural change across everything. And so I think that Workday Consumer piece is absolutely here to stay. Whether you are in the office, you're still going to do personal tasks, aren't you? Like, you know, whether it's in your lunch break, or, you know, if you've got to pay bills, or you haven't got any milk in the house, and so you need to quickly do an online shop, you're still going to do those. And so I think there's absolutely behaviours that are here to stay. And actually, I think it's also really important that, I don't know how many of you own a company, run a company, but you need to empower your employees to be happy in their roles. And, you know, you want to maintain talent. So understanding that people will do a mix of work and personal through that workday is really important. Because again, they will leave. They will leave and go somewhere else that they get that. So I'm confident that in some respect, those behaviours will absolutely stay. Okay, I think we are out of time. Thank you very much, and I will be here for a bit longer, and I'm happy to take details from you and follow up with you afterwards, anyone that's interested. Thank you.